All right. So tonight we're talking about goal setting and office hours. And I would tell you, if you listed like a totem pole of strengths that I have, this would go real low on the totem pole. It's grown for sure over time. But at the end of 2019, I went to Bend, Oregon, and we had Thanksgiving with my family. And I decided then that I would set a goal that I would stop being a gold ambassador on my reentry, where I sat nicely and happily for years. And I said, I'm going to get to Ruby in 2020. That was just my goal. Well, I didn't get to Ruby, but I did get to 400 points, which I was really proud of. And it felt good. But I keep thinking, I got to hit that goal. That's my goal. That's where I want to move towards. So it makes me more intentional. I'll tell you another thing, office hours. I don't have them. And I will tell you that it has caused a lot of frustration and chaos. And so I'm trying to funnel into a more intentional way of working. All that to say, 8 years in, I'm still growing. But that's why I'm excited about tonight. I asked two ladies that for sure represent for me balance, office hours. I'm sure there's times they're like, no, Jen, no, like I'm not always balanced, but they have a plan and they see things with clarity. And so you need to hear from them on the topics of goal setting and office hours. Originally, I thought I would ask Sable first. Let me see if she's still on. No, I don't even see her on yet. So Heather, are you okay to go first? All right, I'm going to mute myself.
Hey everyone, thanks for asking me, Jen. I have to laugh when you say balance because I totally do not feel balanced. Tonight, my husband is actually a firefighter in Nashville, and so he is on shift. My oldest son plays middle school ball. He is a game, which actually got canceled. But I was like, I said yes, I'm going to be a yes person, but I may be doing this Zoom from my car. But the game was canceled. So that worked out, but I was just running crazy. And right now they're actually watching Netflix while I do this. So not balanced, but trying to figure it out still myself. But I wanted to talk about the goals, and Sable is going to kind of piggyback off what I talk about goals. And then she is going to go into office hours because as you could tell from my schedule, my office hours are all over the place, in my car, at practice, all the things. So I'm not the best to hear from where that's concerned. I do love that this business can be worked from anywhere, though. So that's amazing. Even if you don't have office hours, you still can do it. But let's talk about goals. So I used to be super duper scared of goals. I never set them. I was really freaked out. And my sweet upline would always message me when we got started. Her first, when she knew I was going to share, she was like, so what about silver? And I was like, I'll let it happen when it happens. And you can ask her, she'll tell you I literally said that probably about every goal until I was a senior Ruby, you guys. And the reason why was because I am a person who loves to be in control. And I'm working on that too. But I knew that there's so much of these goals that I couldn't be in control of. So it was letting go of that. It was letting go of the fear of failure. If you have fear of failure, nod your head. It is completely okay to be scared of failing. But what you have to understand when setting a goal is if you don't get there, you have not failed. You have moved forward. I like to say that you just fall and you land closer to the stars, right? So you're not failing. So it took me changing my mindset and realizing, hey, I'm working towards something. Even if I don't get there, I'm moving forward. Someone shared an analogy with me that really stuck with me, and it is the arrow analogy. And I don't know if you've heard this or not, but basically think of your goals as a target. If you don't have the target up and you're shooting arrows into the forest, you're just shooting them out into everywhere, right? You don't know where they're going. You don't know where they're landing. You don't know how close they're getting into anything. They're just going everywhere. So I was just shooting arrows out everywhere and hoping that they landed somewhere near a target. But when you put the target up there, the target being your goal, and then you start shooting arrows, you're able to focus in. You're able to focus in on the bullseye. So you're able to see, okay, this is where I need to aim. This is where I need to go. So think of that from now on. The target is what you're shooting for. That's your goal. So I put my target up there. Then you want your goals to be smart. We want smart goals. And let's talk about the acronym of SMART. So we want them to be specific. Basically, we want to make sure that we know exactly what we want to achieve. Make it super duper duper specific. We want it to be measurable, because if we don't have it measurable, then we're not going to be able to, it's harder for us to figure out where to go next, right? So when I say measurable, I like to think of first what I can control. So I think about, remember that control freak problem that I have. So I think about, in this business, what can I control? Let's talk about, since everyone may be thinking about hitting a rank as we close out this amazing month, or this the success sprint contest, which has been amazing. Let's talk about the success sprint. So if my goal is to sweep the success sprint at the first of the quarter, I would have looked and said, what can I do here? What can I control? I could control my subscription being at the right amount every month, right? I could control signing 3 people and getting myself the 100 credits, or signing 3 customers. I could control helping to retain my level 1s that I signed and brought on all 3 months of the quarter. Then I could decide, okay, how many events can I hold for my levels 1 through 4? That type of thing. So that would be my measurable and specific types of ways to break it down. And you want to work in chunks also. So just do it by quarters, like per month, to get to your goal. And then attainable. We want it to be a reasonable, attainable goal. If you don't set an attainable goal, you're going to get so discouraged, you guys. So discouraged. That would be like me saying today, okay, this month has been going awesome. I think I may shoot for diamond tomorrow. Like, yeah, it's an awesome goal, but it's not attainable for me right now. It will be, I know, in a few months, but right now it's not attainable. So you don't want to set goals that are unattainable. So I want them to be reasonably attainable, and then relevant. And when I say relevant, I mean relevant to you, to your stage of life. Sometimes setting a goal that's a really fast-paced goal may not be relevant to a brand new mom's stage of life, because you just don't have all that time and effort to put into something that you want to reach really quickly, right? So make sure that it's relevant to you, to your lifestyle, to what you believe in. And then time-based. Give yourself a certain time that you're going to hit it by. And again, if you don't hit it by that time, that's okay, but you've moved forward, right? And so you don't have to reset the goal. You just have to move the time frame up a little bit when you get there, right? I love statistics. I love hearing studies and all the things. And I was really shocked by this Harvard business study about goals. So basically 83% of people studied here did not have any goals, no goals. They were just out doing their job day to day, 9 to 5, no goals. Then 14% of the people studied had goals. They had a plan in mind. They did not have them written down. 3% of those people had written down specific goals. So who do you think is going to be the most successful, right? That 14% that had goals, they were 10 times more likely to be successful than the 83% who didn't. Then the 3% who had written down goals were not only 10 times more successful, but they also were 3 times more successful than the 14%. That's how important writing your goals down is. It is crucial. You also want to make sure that when you write them down, you put them somewhere where you see them every day. Like you want to get ready for a bikini or whatever in the summer. Maybe you're going to put a picture of yourself from 10 years ago on the refrigerator and remind yourself, I want to look like this every day. That's probably not attainable, but you know what I mean? So put them somewhere where you're going to see them every single day. And a few things that we do as a team when we set the goals, I definitely suggest telling someone. You're going to be more successful if you have someone in your corner, someone rooting you on. So tell your best friend, tell your husband, tell your upline, tell your team chat, tell somebody, hey, this is my goal. I'm super excited to work towards this. My team and I do countdowns. We're actually counting down right now. We do them in our chats. We have a big team chat. We do this really fun countdown during Magic Week we start the countdown at the beginning of the month, just saying, hey, this is our goal for this month as a team to change this many lives. And then once we get to Magic Week, we start counting down every one person that we help. And it's so exciting, and it gets my team so pumped up because they're able to see us ticking off of that goal, and we're celebrating, and we're, going crazy. There's a new girl in our chat today, for instance, and she said, honestly, this chat is so amazing. She was like, how many more do we have to get to our goal? And somebody said 19. And she was like, I've never been more motivated than about something in my whole life. And we're like, yeah, because it's just so exciting to see your goal tick down. So we do that. Also, if it is a specific goal, like if I have someone shooting for Ruby, what we've done is at the first of the month, we've created a group of people shooting for certain goals. And we'll add, say, for instance, Ruby, we'll put 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500 under their picture and Ruby. And as they get to those marks, we'll mark them off with like a little heart or something. And people are going crazy and they're so excited. But the people shooting for the goals are so much more likely to achieve them because they have us in their corner. They keep seeing it every day. So just having the people helping you, rooting you on also helps when working towards your goals. So I think that's all I have. Just remember, don't be scared to set them. I was so scared, but it really held me back. Jen knows I was at Senior Ruby. I actually sat at Senior Ruby. I got there real quick and I sat there for 3 years because I needed to learn. I needed to learn that I have to set goals. I needed to change my mindset about goal setting and about working towards those things. And when that happened, I'm able to share that with my team. And I learned so much from doing that. So don't be scared to set them. Know that you're moving forward. Even if you don't hit them just yet, all you have to do is adjust the time.
Literally the best. And I guess I'd never thought about getting people to say what their goal was and then actually getting your whole team surrounding around that person to encourage them. And also like the whole idea of you'll show up at the gym if somebody's waiting for you there.
Yes.
It feels like that. It's like, well, shoot, I told somebody I was going to hit Ruby. I guess I better do what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Otherwise we just keep that goal secret. Really good. And then Magic Week, is that every single month you do the same thing every last week of the month?
Yes. So we actually took that term from Genevieve, who posted on the Plexus Worldwide Facebook page. And so we were like, this is so exciting. The last week of the month, it was pretty big for us anyway. And starting last year is when we started doing it. But now we just call it Magic Week and it gets so exciting. I do a giveaway if we hit our main team goal. And everybody's just so excited to work towards it. It's pretty awesome. So we always say, I wish we're like so excited at the first of the month too, but it's really exciting at the end of the month because everybody's like, we have my team in Georgia actually has an end of the month rally every month where they all get together and they get with their sidelines. So it's not just one team, it's my team down there. And they have a big dinner and it's so fun. I love it.
Gosh, I'm like impressed. Seriously. Okay. So I have a couple of ideas for myself with the goal setting, and that way I can focus on that next step. And I definitely think the accountability of putting a swimsuit picture on the refrigerator ain't gonna happen. All right. Thank you, Heather. Awesome.
You're welcome.
All right. So I'm going to pass it over to Sable, who you might as well have your notebook still out because you're going to be taking lots of notes. I know it. I know you are. All right. I'm unmuting myself.
Thank you. Hey guys, Sable Victory here, Emerald Ambassador, and I'm going to piggyback just off of a few things there that Heather said because I agree absolutely with everything. And I'm going to take my group chat to the next level. I see some of my people on here from my group chat. So be expecting that we're going to be doing some countdowns and stuff. You guys know that I'm always shouting you out at the end of the month saying, Jessica's got 2 more, Allison's 1 away. But we are going to start doing that just to keep continuing building the hype because hype is where it's at. That's always so fun. Another thing that I really like to do as far as goal setting, and this kind of goes back to the SMART goals, is point tracking, which if any of you guys are in our top 1% group, you know that we have you getting in and doing your point tracking at the end of each day where you are writing down, what your overall points are at, what your outside leg points are at, what your PV is at, how many new ads you have that day. I love doing that stuff because it's good reflection when you go back and you're looking to set goals for the next month and you say, okay, well, where did I end this previous month at? what were our numbers like, and what do I want to end this, coming up month. And I even do this going a year back. I love looking at March of last year and seeing what the numbers were, because I have that record kept. I keep it in the notes section of my phone. And I love keeping that record so I can go back and I can see the growth that we've had over a year, because that's really encouraging. And it's also good to just kind of have that understanding of the fluctuations of the business, because we have those seasons that go up and down. And so, as you're coming into, a swimsuit season or tax season or Christmas season or back to school season, you can kind of know what to expect and then set your goals around that. But also it's about writing those goals down, because I do it all in the notes section of my phone. I have a folder that's titled monthly goals. Each month I write out what my goals are, but at the end of each day I go in and I do my point tracking, and that's where I see my goals. First and foremost, at the very top of that notes section, before I scroll down to the point tracking, I see my goals. That way I'm looking at them every day. So I'm not just thinking about them in my head saying, okay, well, this is what I want this month, and then forgetting about it. I have it written down in the notes section and I see it every single day. So I know what I'm working towards and I don't lose sight of those goals. So that's one little added piece of advice that I have there. And I have some notes. I'm just looking over here at my phone. The other thing is setting goals with your team. Doing this from the moment that somebody joins, getting on that onboarding call with them and asking them, what can an extra $300 do for you? Or, what would you do with that money? Are you going to pay a credit card bill, pay for organic groceries, pay off a car payment, whatever it is, getting those goals with your team, because you can use that when you're coaching them and when you're speaking to them to remind them, because there's always going to be times where you're going to get discouraged, or someone's going to say no, or someone's going to purchase and they're not going to like the taste, or whatever is going to happen, and they're going to get discouraged. But you're going to bring those goals back up to your team and say, hey, remember you told me what an extra $300 was going to do for you and your family, and how that was going to get your car payment paid off a lot quicker? Like, is that something that you're still wanting to work towards? Because I'm here to help you with it. And sometimes people just kind of need that reminder to pull them back to why they started in the beginning. So definitely get your team's goals as well. And doing those projections with them. Like, okay, if you need to make an extra $500 a month, here's what you're going to do that. And set those goals for them, because sometimes starting out, people don't know. They're like, I mean, yeah, getting my products to be paid for would be nice. Or maybe they're like, yeah, I need an extra $6,000 a month next month. And it's like, well, that's Emerald pay. So like, I'd love for you to go to Emerald in 1 month, but like, let's show you how it's done. So kind of bringing them back down to, reality, or explaining to them how they're going to reach their goals and what they need to do those things. So going into office hours now, that's all I had for goal setting, because Heather did an amazing job describing everything. And those are, all of the things that I do. But as far as office hours go, this is something that I struggled with, and I still sometimes do. But I'm getting better. And big thanks to Bob Heilig. I am in his next level leadership course, and he did a training that's on basically your self-management versus time management, like how to have freedom in your business. We talk all the time about having freedom in this business, but if you're tied to your phone 24/7, what kind of freedom is that, right? And people are going to look at that and they're going to be like, well, I don't want to do what she does. Like, she's on her phone all of the time. Or like, yeah, she says that she's with her family, but like, again, she's got her face in the phone, or, she's not actually there present with her family. So it's really important to set boundaries and to come up with what he calls your ideal week. Okay. So we all have things that we have to do. So I suggest getting a planner and getting one that has detailed time slots from like 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. or, whenever you wake up to whenever you go to bed. If you can fill in the time slots, that's even better. But basically going in each week, sit down, whatever day works for you. For me, it's Sunday nights. Sit down on a Sunday night and say, okay, these are the things that I cannot miss. I have a doctor's appointment at this time, kids soccer practice at that time, whatever, and write down the non-negotiables, right? Because those can't change. You have to show up for those. If you have a job, okay, I got to be at work Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, whatever it is, you write those things down. Those are your non-negotiables. And then you fill in the holes. Where are you going to be able to work your business in those nooks and crannies like we talk about? So maybe it's, in the car pickup line, getting your kids from school, Or maybe it's, 30 minutes between coming home from the gym and then going inside your house to shower and get ready for the rest of the day. Whatever it is, you're going to find those holes in your schedule and you're going to fill those in with the things that you need to do. Now, remember, this is your ideal week. It's not going to go as planned. So don't go into it thinking, okay, this is the perfect week. Like everything's going to perfectly fall into line. Everything's going to happen perfectly, just as planned, because we know that that's not how life works, right? Things are going to happen. Maybe you have planned, for an hour from noon to 1 while your baby is napping that you're going to do some IPA, but baby decides that they're not going to nap today and you got to work your way around that schedule. So you have to understand that when you are writing out your ideal week, that things may not go ideally, and that is okay. But at least doing this, you are going to feel more accomplished and you're going to have something to go off of. Because if you go into things, and I used to do this, I would sit down to work and I'd be like, okay, now what do I do? And I'm just like, okay, I have an hour before I got to go get the kids to school. What do I do? And I had no plan. So I was planning to fail, basically, right? But if I have a schedule and I can open up my planner and say, okay, this is what I wanted to get done today. I needed to check in with Susan. I need to follow up with Jennifer. I need to reach back out to, Tiffany, whatever, whoever. I have a plan that I can follow. And then so it makes it easier to feel like I'm checking off these things, okay? So we always talk about like, oh, time management is such a hard thing. Where am I going to fit in the time to do these things? How am I going to, be successful with this if I'm working full time or I have 7 kids or I'm homeschooling or all of the things, right? We all have 24 hours in a day. So how have the diamonds been able to do it, right? Like we're all given the exact same time in a day. It's just how we manage our time. But what Bob says is it's self-management. It's not managing your time, it's managing yourself. So if you can manage yourself and be disciplined and sit down and dedicate that 30 minutes or an hour on a Sunday night to figure out what your ideal week is going to be, then you will be more successful at completing those tasks and getting things done. And action breeds success. So it's a ripple effect. And if you can do these things, then that is when everything will come to fruition. So set those boundaries, write out your ideal week, expect things to not go perfect because life is not perfect. And remember, you're not managing your time because you can't manage 24 hours. We all have the 24 hours. You're managing yourself and you're disciplining yourself. And that's it.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that. When you said it, I was like, oh, that hurt. You're not managing your week. You're managing yourself. And y'all, can I tell you how many times I pick up my phone? It makes me feel like I'm a lunatic. I go like this. Who was I going to message? What was I going to do? It's like the order is not there. And so honestly, that makes you avoid the work because if it makes you feel chaotic and like, I don't know. And this is why we're going to do a virtual sip and see at the end of April. And the instructions have you keeping in a notebook every person you sent the samples to. So, check if you sent them the invitation, check if you followed up with them. And it made my heart stop racing. It made my stress go down because it was a simple way to track and stay in order. So basically you're saying I need to do some self-management. That's what I need to do.
Well, and I think it comes down to like, you got to have focused time. And I know I used to do this, like I'd get the ping and I'd be like, ooh, I'm important. Somebody needs me. Like, let me reply to them right away. But I'd be in the middle of playing with my kids or getting dinner ready. And then I read the message and I react. I don't respond. And I always use this as an example. I'm not this harsh of a person, but someone would be, getting back to me example, and they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, my grandmother just passed away, and like, I'll get to ordering next week. And I'd be in that moment, you're in the moment, and you're like, oh, okay, great, well, just let me know when you're ready, and I'll be here. And like, you don't even think about to say like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, your grandmother passed away. And I use that as an example. Again, I'm not that harsh, but like sometimes you get in the moment of doing things and you're like in the process of doing something with your kids, or you're distracted and you can't fully engage with the person that's messaging you. But if you have that time block where you can focus on replying to somebody in an empathetic way in that situation, then you're going to come across better than doing it while you're multitasking.
Yeah, that's a great point. And even today, I said to my daughter, do you want to go for a walk? And I purposefully left my phone at home And I had a girl signing up, and I even thought, oh, she's going to have problems and I'm not going to be there. But I said, I don't care, because I'm going to be there for my daughter and be fully present. And honestly, I feel like, and this is me kind of tapping into this faith side, but I'm going to tell you, I feel like blessings come when you keep your priorities in order. So I needed my sixth person to be able to sweep the contest for the success sprint. And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to get that sixth person? Like, I kind of waited till the last minute, and the person came to me. She just messaged out of the blue today. She's like, you know what? I think I'm ready to get started. And I kind of laughed, because I thought, why do I ever doubt that you have my business in your hands? And so I'm telling you all that office hours equals the business not owning you. It's you owning your business. Because if you feel like, well, I'm talking about God, and then I'm going to say this, if you feel like you're someone's bee, that ain't the kind of job freedom you're looking for. Okay. You don't have to be answering everybody at all times. You're not at their beck and call. You are there. You serve them, but they don't own you. You're not their bee. So anyways, that's Deep Thoughts by Jennifer. I'm so glad that you did that, Sable. That's a lot for me to think about, actually, and I'm actually going to set some goals to become a better example for being a self-manager with time. I actually really appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So,
and I think it just goes back to, it's the freedom. We talk about freedom with this, and what freedom are we really having if we're a slave to our phone, or, we're a slave to back office, or whatever it may be. We really have to set that example for others and work smarter, not harder, as cliche as that sounds.
so true. And we're all on our own journey. If you guys feel like you are just stuck to your phone, and I'll say this, if you feel like your team will quit on you if you don't respond, then that is not the thing you wanted to be building anyways. If the people are only staying because you are constantly having to stoke the fire for them, those aren't the people that are going to get you to diamond. They're not. You want the people that don't need you, that you're like, friend, hello, play with me, like, spend time with me. That's what you're looking for. Because at this point, I'm just going to be honest, all of the diamonds on my team, they do their own thing. And sometimes I'm like, hey, I miss you. That was fun. Remember those times back in the day? But honestly, that's what you want. You want your business to be self-sustaining. So set those boundaries. Want to let you guys know, in April, we're going to be doing a Y Zoom. It's going to be so good. You might need tissues, actually. We're going to do a new ambassador training, and we're also going to do that virtual sip and see, which is going to be the best. I'm hoping we can have 500 people on there, which is huge and lofty goals, but I actually think we could do it. You're just going to send a stick of Slim out, and we're all going to send it on the same day, Wednesday, April 14th. So that way it makes it to them by the 20th. Everyone opens it up together on the same Zoom, mixes it up together on the same Zoom, tries it together on the same Zoom. And here's the thing, if everybody's drinking it and smiling and going, you think somebody's going to go, ooh, like that? Nobody going to do that, because we're all a creature of what am I trying to say? We're all affected by everybody else. What's that word? Peer pressure? I don't know. Whatever the word is. So make sure you have all that in your calendar. It's on the Dream Big page. Absolutely loved tonight. I'll post the recording as soon as I upload it to YouTube. Heather, Sable, nailed it. Truly, I appreciate both of you so much. Good night, everybody.